All right. All right. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Cine-Ops podcast. I can't tell how my hair is, but just let me know. Let me know in the comments. Welcome back. How are you? It's good to see you. Welcome back to the Cine-Ops podcast. I'm Alvy. I'm the host. I'm the host with the curls, I guess. What am I going to do with this hair? But welcome back to the Cine-Ops podcast. It's good to see you. I hope you're happy to hear from me, I guess. We finished Rocky, right? The last few episodes we did Rocky, and it's been a little while. I do this a lot. I'm sorry, but I finished the episode. I think I was doing pretty good on the podcast, right? Because in the last few weeks, I've gotten some of the best numbers that I've done on the stats, right? On the analytics in that. So I was, you might have seen me on TikTok, right? I was doing clips. I was clipping them, and I got a crazy amount of new downloads, right? But the thing was, I don't know why I do this. It's like a self-sabotage, or I don't know. Maybe I feel like I can't. Maybe deep inside I feel like I shouldn't have things and things like that. And that's probably why I don't like to celebrate my birthday, and I don't like to buy myself stuff. But when I do really good at something, right? So I was working hard on the clips, uploading every day. And I got a lot of traffic on the podcast, right? Everybody was coming in, good comments, good everything, right? And for whatever reason, I saw the numbers, and you would think, oh, wow, I'm doing great. Keep going. Hey, good job. Keep going. But I was like, I saw the numbers and I just stopped. Or I didn't even look at the numbers. I had stopped. The numbers came in. They were great. And I just didn't do it, you know? And it's I don't know what it is, but every once in a while, I want to turn everything off, throw everything away, and go live in the middle of nowhere. Now, I don't know if that's just the way I am. Maybe every man has that. I'm not sure. Because I've spoken to a few friends, my friends from my military time, and they said, yeah, I'd be down to just forget everything, live in a cabin in the woods, or whatever it is, right? And it sounds good. To me, deep in my heart, I grew up in North Carolina, so I'm that Carolina Reaper. I'm that Carolina Reaper. And, I just miss, I guess, disconnecting, right? But I always disconnect when I think I'm doing good for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm scared of the next step, stuff like that. And, I do, the podcast has done better, right? From when I started in the last few years that I decided to do good, or to give it more time and everything like that. The podcast has more than doubled. It's tripled. No, I'm kidding. It's done way more than that. It's done better. I've done better. And I get emails, right, from companies. In the last 2 years, I've turned down 3 companies that have reached out, and they're like, hey, not that they're going to sign me to this company, but it's like an advertising company that it's like, join us to make money. Essentially, that's what the thing is. And I just don't trust them. I don't know what it is. 3 different people. I think recently I've been in touch with a third, and they're like, hey, join us, do this. And the thing is, I don't want to. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, I do want the money. I would like the money. It would help, especially for all the things that I like, right? To buy some land, whatever. So I do like the money, but I don't know what it is. I just don't trust them. I don't like them. Everything feels like a con. You know what I mean? Everything feels like a con. They're trying to trick me. And I'm just like, nah, I'm all right. Or I'm a real smart ass. You know what I mean? I have like smart ass questions. I have a bad attitude about things. And I'm like, nah, and I just don't reply. Or I'm like really, not really mean, but I don't know. I just turn them down. And just so I could kind of hang out, you know what I mean? Because, the thing is, if I keep doing it as a job, which if this was all I had to do, that'd be pretty sick. And I'd probably do it better. But it's fun. It's fun to me to watch a movie or read a book, hang out with you guys, just talk. Because the next thing you know, oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started about whatever company they're going to want me to promote, whatever it is. I just like hanging out. You know what I mean? I hope that you like to listen because you like to hang out, right? You like to hang out with me. You like to chat about movies. Maybe you like to hear my opinion on them. I'm not a smart guy, right? I'm not an intellectual. I mean, a little, a little, but not that much, and not to the point where it's like these ratings are off the charts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a regular guy who likes movies, and if you like to hang out with me and talk about them, that's my favorite. What I had planned, right? A few weeks ago, the Artemis 2 came back from the moon, and it was this great thing, and I was like, you know what? This time, we're in space. We're doing AI. Everything is AI. We need to slow down with the AI, all right? But everything's AI. And I was like, you know what I should do? I should do 2001, The Space Odyssey. And then 2001, The Space Odyssey is a Stanley Kubrick, right? And he made this in 1968. I'm not doing it this episode, right? In this episode, we're just ranting. Next episode, we're doing 2001, Space Odyssey. Here's the problem I ran into watching Space Odyssey. It turns out my attention span is cooked. I was watching this, and I kept wanting to be on my phone or just like, I'm going to go cut the grass or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, it was a hard watch, right? Because it's loud. There's loud noises / music. That just sound like an old man. That loud noise music. That's not music. But anyway, it's loud music. You know what I mean? Whatever they call it, the score. The score is loud. And it's a little irritating, right? Because it's super loud. And then it's hard to watch because you're not sure. It starts off, you're not sure what's going on. In the middle, okay, I kind of see what's going on. And then the end is kind of wild, right? You have to understand the time travel and space travel and that. So it's like pretty wild. And it took me probably a week. Maybe it took me 3 separate watches to finish it. And each time I watched it, like each act, right? The first act, second act, third act, each act, something different was going on. So I was like, oh man, I need to lock in, right? I gotta focus. I gotta lock in, focus. And I still haven't finished it. So I'll let you know what I think about it. But in the meantime, we'll just catch up. We'll just catch up, hang out, see what we got going on. What's been going on with me? You know me, man. Full-time dad, full-time work. I do the school thing. It's a lot. And my school was hacked. I live in California, right? I live in San Diego. There was a cyber attack. There was a ransomware attack. A ransomware is where hackers take your information and they're like, if you don't give us this much money or whatever, we're gonna store this in a database. There's databases of information, right? And I know that because I go to school for cybersecurity. So it's a little ironic, right? A cybersecurity student getting hacked, and this whole school gets hacked. But who cares? Whatever. Yeah, they got hacked, and they resolved it right within a week. So doesn't matter. I failed all the classes, but I'll try again. Other than that, I just work. I don't know if I work in an aerospace company, right? Aerospace, and it's really cool. My job's pretty sick. I get to work with new technologies, and I have like really cool friends. I think I work with great people, right? They're not not all of them. Let's just say that. Not all of them are that cool. But for the most part, the ones that I consider my friends, they're pretty cool. And it's good to learn from them, I get to learn from my friends, hang out with them. They get to smart me up. I get to dumb them down. It's a fair trade. But other than that, I thought I had some questions. Sorry, I had to get set up. All right, I did have some questions, right? I've been saving them for a filler episode, right? A couple of filler episodes, that's funny. Yeah, so I have some questions here that I've been saving for a filler episode. So this is a pretty good time. As always, you can email in. You can email in or comment wherever you see this, right? It's the Cine-Ops YouTube on YouTube. The Cine-Ops podcast on YouTube. That's getting low traffic there, all right? You gotta subscribe to that. Oh, you don't have to, all right? It's whatever. Cine-Ops podcast on YouTube. If you just type in Cine-Ops podcast and listen to it, you can listen wherever, comment wherever, and I should be able to see it. And then you could email in at the Cine-Ops at Gmail. Cine-Ops at Gmail. And you could let me know what you think, right? Here's some people. All right, let me just kind of go down the line. It says Alvi, Cars 2, the conspiracy theory, lives rent free in my head. Wow. Cool. Okay. What is the next kids movie that secretly has that is secretly a psychological thriller? A kids movie that's a psychological thriller. Probably every episode of One Piece. One Piece is, it's like you start off as like, oh, these kids, they're going pirates against this, and then you slowly start seeing similarities in the geopolitical systems that we have in place today. So that's like a kid show, but a kid movie. I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure, bro. I would say One Piece. One Piece is cool. All right. You always say, I don't care, whatever, about mainstream critic opinions. Yeah, that's true. Because it's like a little snobby, right? And I don't like that. I don't like when somebody thinks they're better and they critique you. You know what I mean? I think that annoys me. You don't care about critic opinion. What is a masterpiece movie that everyone loves, but you think is absolute garbage? Oh. Okay, what is a masterpiece movie that everyone loves, but you think is absolute garbage? Okay. All right, I'll say it. I think The Big Lebowski unravels after the acid trip. You know what I mean? Because I love all the characters in that movie. The setup is cool, but then the ending for me, I'm just a Joe Schmo that nobody knows. For me, the ending it unravels. You know what I mean? It's not as good as the first half of the movie. That's what I think about the Big Lebowski. What else? Masterpiece that everyone loves, but I think is garbage. Garbage is strong, bro. Someone everyone loves it, everything's garbage. That I think is garbage. And there's a lot. There's a lot. And I remember I said one recently. But sometimes I'll hate on a movie just because I'm in a bad mood. And that's probably you know what I mean? So I can find something to hate about every movie. But then that defeats the purpose of loving movies. I only want to love them. You know what I mean? I keep running into these technical difficulties because I haven't done it in a while. So everything's kind of like all over the place. But the question was, what's a movie hill you're absolutely willing to die on, no matter how many people tell you you're wrong? Oh, these are good. Okay. Movie. Okay, let's just say movie and TV. I hate, for example, when Oppenheimer and Barbie, the Barbie movie, that weekend the movie came out, something just didn't feel right about all the publicity and everything it made me feel like it was a psyop by the government. And I just didn't trust it. I didn't watch them. I don't care about them. What else? Yeah. That's the only thing that comes to mind right now. And I know that's not really a hill or anything like that, but that's all I could think about. I should have read these before, but it's okay. We'll send it right now. If you had to pick a director who operates with precision engineering efficiency, who would it be? If you had to pick a director who operates with precision engineering, with precision efficiency, if you had to pick a director who operates with precision engineering and efficiency, who would it be and why? I like shout out Guillermo del Toro. I like the way he works, right? Because I think I appreciate his movies more because he didn't just, I don't think he went to school for directing and then started doing directing and he's been a director the whole time. He was doing props. He was the prop master his company did the props for all these movies, and little by little, he started including them once he started directing. So I like Guillermo del Toro. So when you watch Pacific Rim, which was cool, and it's everything like guys love, like giant robots fighting giant monsters from space, but they come in through the bottom of the ocean, and they're fighting in the towns, and there's like a black market where you could buy illegal alien parts and stuff like this, and the resistance is trying to fight because everything is so cool. Everything's so cool, and I think he has the attention to detail because he's had to work his way. I feel like maybe not the bottom, but like, I don't want to say props is the bottom, but he had to work in this area and then work to director, so he has an eye for it, I think. So I think maybe he has a closer eye to detail for that precision and efficiency in storytelling and directing. So shout out Guillermo del Toro. But there's a lot of good directors. And just being a good director on this movie, you probably got a few bad ones, but, that's all part of learning and growing. So it's all right. No hate here. In Rocky 2 and 3, you talked about the pacing in the movies. Do you think sequels have lost their ability to let the story breathe? Well, when I started doing the podcast, one of my rules was like, no sequels. I'm not going to do any sequels. And for the main part is because when a production company makes a movie, they push the sequel off to a separate company, right? So it's not necessarily the first people, the same company making the sequel, right? But then again, sometimes it's like a cash grab, right? Like, look, everybody loved this movie so much, we got to do this one. We got to do this one. And then essentially you see too much of a story that it can start making it bad, right? And an example of this could be, I don't want to say Toy Story, right? I don't want to say Toy Story because, I grew up with Toy Story. It's one of the movies I had on VHS when I was a little boy. But, little by little, there's more chances of things going wrong if you keep making them. Right? So, for example, another example, John Wick, right? They're up to John Wick 4, a spinoff. Nobody really talks about John Wick 4 or the spinoff, or if they're going to do a prequel or whatever it is, because it starts getting a little diluted. Right? The same thing with the Sinners movies. They made Sinners. It was really cool. But now they're going to do like a Sinners universe. And I'm like, all right. And it's like they're trying to do it because this one was so successful and good, so people will like this or whatever. And that's really the problem I have. And as for the pacing, more recently in film, or no, I'm just gonna say movies. More recently in movies, they're kind of just starting to become real generic, right? Like, hey, these are the characters. Let's get two funny characters that are two funny actors, maybe. One's an actor, one's a comedian, put them together. This is the plot, real quick. This is it. Put it on Amazon Prime. I'm not going to say who, but you've seen them. Right? You've seen them. You know what I'm talking about. It's like a little formula. It's exactly boom, boom, right? It's a formula. Boom, boom, boom. Movie's over. That was cool. Start working on the second one. I'm not for that, right? I don't like it. I'll watch it if I have the time, but I don't like the pacing in most modern movies. Let's see. Okay, this is a technical question. He's saying, I have a cool style. Okay, you have a cool, chill, campfire style storytelling podcast, right? What's your go-to setup when you're recording these? Oh, no. So he's saying, am I sitting in the dark with a drink or what? So this is probably an older one. So before I had the video, right? These videos are relatively new. I think I started doing them this year. I don't even remember what year it is, but the videos are new, right? This is me. This is the backdrop. The backdrop kind of represents a little bit of everything I kind of been through in my life a little. Yeah, look, I have this golden compass here, yeah? And that was a gift. This compass was a gift from somebody that was very important to me. And I would say still is important to me. And what's funny is that was shinier when I got it. But now it's kind of dark. And I wonder if that has a little bit of a meaning to it. But oh yeah, so when I record, I have a camera here, a light here, the mic is here, computer stuff here. I have screens. I have two screens right over here. And I still use the same audio. I still use the same audio software, which is called Audacity, and it's free. I use the same mic that I used since I started. It's what is it, bro? It's a Samsung, not Samsung. It's a Samsung Meteor. It's called a Samsung Meteor mic, and it was like $60 at a random, like, not Best Buy, but the other. There was a Fry's Electronics. So it was like $50, $60. I still use it since I started. I started in 2018, and I know, and I think, and you're asking about my setup. When I started telling stories, I was in the Marines. We were in the middle of nowhere. I could remember these movies like I just saw them, and I would just tell them to everybody, right? And it kind of was like a campfire, and it was just my buddies sitting there, and I was telling them the story about Jet Li, right? Oh, Jet Li, they put a collar on him, this and that, and they were just hooked, right? They could just listen. They wanted to hear the whole thing, and then every time they want a different movie, and if I seen it, I could remember it. So my setup was nothing, right? Just me standing there, telling my friends, and then I came back when I came back from the ops or whatever like that. I bought the mic, free software. I started doing just the audio podcast, and I did the audio podcast from 2018. I did only audio from 2018 to 2025, just straight audio, and I got a pretty big, pretty good audience, I think. And I never promoted anywhere. I never promoted. I didn't make clips. I didn't do anything. Just straight audio, straight storytelling, straight to the internet. And then people found it, right? And I think I'm very grateful to all of you that found it. If you've been with me for a long time, thank you. I hope you're proud of me, right? And I hope you're doing good. And I love you. But yeah, my setup is very minimal. I have the same mic, the free software. I have a camera now, so I use Premiere Pro, and the edits in the video are minimal, right? Just cut and paste, hey, move over, whatever it is. So that's all I do. You know what I mean? I come in here and I try to do a good thing. You know what I mean? I try to give it good energy. All right. Hopefully you like listening. And yeah, I don't have a crazy setup. I don't have a crazy like ritual. I used to, when I started doing podcasts, I would like brush my teeth. Even though it was straight audio, I would just brush my teeth, kind of like, feel good. I've never done any breathing exercises, but I probably should. I don't know, just to make sure I'm not like gasping and out of breath and stuff like that. But very minimal setup. If you could have any actor or director sit down with you on the pod for 45 minutes of unfiltered rant, who would it be? Ooh, actor or, you know what? I like, appreciate, and love Adam Driver, right? Adam Driver's pretty cool. He's dedicated to his craft, and he's a Marine. So if I were to chat with anybody, I would want to chat first. So it was like the first guy that I interview, which I don't even like interviewing, I don't think. But if we just had a chat, right? We had a chat about movies, about our Marine Corps time, everything like that. It would be Adam Driver. So I like seeing Marines in the industry. There's a lot of I do stand-up comedy, so every once in a while I'll run into a Marine comic. I like watching Marines in movies. So Adam Driver, I would talk to Rob Riggle. Rob Riggle? I should probably learn his name, but yeah. If I had to talk to anybody, I'd talk to Adam Driver, and I would ask just how he is, man. Just like a Marine. So I think I would talk to him more as a vet than as an actor, you know what I mean? So I just want to talk to him, and then we talk about the business, the industry, whatever it is. I don't even know if I should say that because I'm not in the industry. I'm just next to it, I guess. So who would I talk to? I'd talk to Adam Driver. How do you balance the chill vibe? Oh, okay. The question is, how do you balance the chill vibe with the actual storytelling? And the thing is, I only focus on the storytelling. I only focus on the story. And then I'm just chill, bro. I'm just chill like that. No, and I think the jokes and everything like that come naturally, right? So if I'm talking about, and then he did this, which really, I don't know why, you know what I mean? That's just really what I'm thinking at the time. Every once in a while, I would write some notes about the movies, about like major points that I want to hit. But I don't write down everything I'm going to say. So I guess it's maybe like an improv style. And then it helps that I think I'm a little funny. I'm a little funny, and that's why I do stand-up, but it's just the way I talk. I think if you were to talk to me, you would probably be like, wow, this guy doesn't take anything serious. And that's a fair way to describe me. Yeah, so I just balance it by just being naturally, just staying chill. Just be a chill dude, you'll be all right. Okay, let's see. Does your experience doing the podcast change the way you see movies? Change the way I see movies? Does your experience doing the podcast, storytelling vlogs, change the way you see these movies for the podcast? I don't want it to. You know what did change it? Okay, look, when I first started going to college after the Marines, when I started going to school after the Marines, I had a cinema class, right? And I was like, oh, bro, I love movies. I want to do some cinema class. And it was cool, right? I got to see movies that normally I wouldn't watch. Old school movies, movies in French, whatever it is, right? A few French films, an Italian film, things I would never watch, right? And it opened my eyes to like the things that you have to notice and what goes into a movie, right? And then it started feeling like work. You know what I mean? Like once I started like dissecting the movie and understanding what these shots were and the storytelling and everything like that, it started feeling a little bit like more work. So it felt like the more I learned, the more work it feels like. So I kind of like, hey, let me stop it right here. I did a few more like classes because I was going to go to school for like digital video to like edit videos and stuff like that. But I ended up back in cyber, right? But while I was doing all that, I learned a lot of technical information for movies and stuff like that. And it kind of made it feel more like work, which I was like, I just want to enjoy a movie. I don't like going into it like, let me break this down. I just want to feel it because essentially when a director makes a movie, he's like, hey, this is what I want them to think at this point. So that way, if they're thinking this, they should be feeling something near this. So when if I reveal this, they'll react like this, right? That's kind of what I think. So I only want to go in thinking, or like, I just want to go watch a movie and be neutral, right? And for the most part, yeah, that's what I like to do. I don't want to have to watch the movies for work because then it's not going to be as fun. You know what I mean? So I like hanging out. So yeah, so it could have changed me, but I noticed that it was changing me, so I didn't let it change me. That's the answer to that question. There was a Marine one here. Okay. All right. Since the podcast is called the Cine-Ops Podcast for Cinematic Operations, referencing your military time, what is the most tactically accurate and realistic action sequence you've seen in a movie? That's good. That's good. I wish I could talk to my buddy Cal because my buddy Cal, he's my friend from work. He's an engineer, super smart. He was a combat engineer in the Marines, same thing I did, and he's a movie guy. You know, he's a good guy. I wish I could. I'm gonna talk to this about him. You know what I mean? I want to bring this up to him. And what's funny? It's funny you say that because when you're in the Marine Corps, right? You're in boot camp. They're teaching you everything, right, from zero. You pretend you don't know anything. They're teaching you everything. And there's a point where they're teaching you about like a tactical reload, everything like that, a tactical, like you're breaking off, maybe a tactical retreat, stuff like that. And what you're doing, what they explain to you is like, oh, if you need to reload, you know, you're loud, you're talking guns, you're talking to your buddy. Hey, I'm reloading. They're going to pick up the rate of fire. They're covering you while you're reloading. Now your gun's back up. Now you have an equal rate of fire, right? And if you're retreating, right, maybe you start from the left or you start from the right, this guy breaks off, you cover fire. When he gets there, he covers and you back up like that. So they show you a clip from the movie Heat. I don't think we've done Heat on the podcast, but there's a clip from the movie Heat where they're doing a heist. They're taking on fire from the police and the armed guards, and they're doing that. So they actually do show you that clip in boot camp, right, to reference what they're talking about. They're like, this is what it looks like. This is what we're talking about, right? Try not to cuss. They're like, this is what it looks like. This is what we're talking about. So they talk about the movie Heat in the Marines. Yeah, so they do show you the movie Heat in the Marines, just that one clip. Another thing that I think is super accurate, because you see a lot of movies, there's a lot of military movies where it's just going to be one big buff guy and he can go do everything by himself. That's the furthest from the truth, right? Everything you do, you got to do it as a team. And what I think is real was sometimes I'll watch a movie and it'll be Marines or a military team, and they're young. Well, not that they're all young, but like in the movie they're young. Because when I served, I was an older guy. I was 24 when I joined, and my teammates and the other recruits, they were 18, 19 maybe. So I was one of the oldest guy. I was the oldest guy in my platoon, and I was 24 years old. So a lot of these Marines, they're kids, so they're gonna be joking around. So whenever I see a movie and they're like, the kids are complaining, they're joking around, but then when it's time to get down, they handle business. That's pretty accurate because they're kids. Yeah, everyone's like 19. Most likely they don't want to be there. They want to go back home, chill, hang out, and they just want to be done. Most of them want to be done with their service. They're just doing whatever they have to for the orders they were given, and they want to get back, hang out. And I think that's pretty accurate. And I say accurate because that's a reference to DJ Khaled when he's like, accurate. And ever since I started saying that, ironically, I've never been able to go back to say accurate. So I think that's pretty accurate when, service members in the military are like silly. They're buddies. They're just trying to chill, and then they have to do whatever they're ordered to do. They go and do it. But they don't, a lot of them don't lose their personalities. You know what I mean? They're like, they're still people. They're still Marines that I know, or they're still service members. So I think that's pretty accurate, and they don't include it all the time. You know what I mean? Everyone's always like, everybody has like a high and tight haircut and ready to go. Like that, I don't see that often, right? I knew one guy. His name was Derek Touchstone, but he was pretty much like a robot. But he was still my friend. He was pretty cool. But I think that could be it. I think that's all the questions I had. I'll save up some more if you have any questions for me, or yeah. So if you have any questions or anything you want to tell me, email in at the Cine-Ops podcast. It could be whatever you want. Just tell me. Let me know. I hope you enjoyed the rant. Hope you enjoyed seeing me, and I wonder if you miss me. Let me know if you miss me. Let me know if you hate me. Whatever it is, man. It'll be all right. We're gonna do movies. I'm gonna do 2001: Space Odyssey next. I hope you're doing all right. Hope you're drinking enough water. Don't let them build AI data centers. Stay safe. Watch movies. Reach out. I love you guys, all right? Next time.